Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Night, the crypto investor channel. I'm Boris, so let's dive in. I'm with Colton today. Hello Colton.
Hey Boris, how you doing? Welcome back to the Kryptonite channel, everyone. Let's dive right into it, Boris. What is Zilliqa, and can you please dive into their project for us?
Sure. So Zilliqa, they are another layer one blockchain. Really what they are aiming at solving is the throughput, to make it as fast as possible and having low congestion. So how do they do this? The main thing is they're the first one to have fully implemented sharding on the blockchain. And the way it works, if people are not familiar with sharding, it's basically taking any transactions that you need to do and cutting it in smaller pieces and having multiple nodes, multiple computers approve the transaction, and therefore going faster because it is in a much smaller, cut in much smaller pieces and then put back together to form the blocks. It's a permissionless blockchain network, and the high throughput is really what they are aiming for. Their coin, it's called ZIL, Z-I-L. And even though it is a blockchain that's proof of work currently, they're looking at eventually going to proof of stake. But you are able to hold, send, and stake the coin. They currently have 21 billion supply. That's the total supply, and they will never be more than 21 billion. That's the max supply. We'll look at the circulating supply in a second.
Thank you for that information, Boris. Can we now kind of dive into ZIL's history and performance?
Yes. So the difference between, let's say, Ethereum and Cardano and Zilliqa. I mean, obviously, Ethereum, Cardano are much bigger. Zilliqa was created in 2017, and they are from Singapore. And I think that's the difference between, Cardano is trying to go mainly after Africa. Ethereum is going pretty much Western countries. Zilliqa is more concentrated in Asia. And because the people that created it, Amrit Kumar and Xin Shudan, they were students at the University of Singapore, and they actually launched in 2017. They did an ICO. They raised $22 million in Ethereum. And actually at first, the first sale was made as an ERC20 token in January 2018. And then they transferred those tokens to the Zilliqa mainnet, which is its own blockchain. And the token swap was concluded by February 2020. So like I said, sharding is really what sets them apart. Now we see more and more blockchains starting to use that as well, but they were pretty much the one that were the first one to really use it completely on their blockchain. And like I said, it's basically what you call shards, which is mainly multiple clusters of nodes, and they process transactions separately from each other. So that's why you can get a lot of speed. And as a big group, it makes it faster. So the thing is, the larger the network, the more nodes you have on the network, the faster everything will get processed. Because a little bit like a highway, if you have multiple lanes, the more lanes you have, the more fluid the traffic is. Now, there is a downside and a potential problem with sharding is the difficulty of reaching consensus whenever doing transaction verifications. So they use a cumbersome process, for Zilliqa that avoids, the hybrid consensus mechanism, makes it faster to use less computing power to process each transaction. And that's the one thing, once again, they're trying to do to alleviate that problem. But also they're doing two things. One, they have a second layer in which a group of nodes forms a delivery service committee that combines the smaller blocks into one whole block. And then they have the DS committee that is able to access the whole blockchain to ensure that the verification is valid. So they're trying to solve some of the problems that sharding can present. Also, their developers, they assert that the high throughput and transaction rates of Zilliqa can put them in a position to actually rival with big centralized systems like Visa or MasterCard. And also, due to its sharded structure and the hybrid consensus mechanism, the Zilliqa blockchain, could be the blockchain of choice for developers in search of a solution that is meant for large scale, especially in financial services, in gaming, in advertising, and a lot of other things. And lately, gaming seems to be the one where they're doing pretty well and having a lot of success. They have their own language called Zilliqa, and it's designed to automatically improve the security of the whole network. It checks itself for security holes and tries to plug them automatically. One other big thing is they have partnered with Chainlink to do a few different things, mainly to enable smart contracts to import data from beyond their network, from other blockchains, or different things coming in from the real world. So once again, this will help them, develop a new range of application on the Zilliqa blockchain. And also it allows the Zilliqa blockchain to access up-to-date market prices. So that's important, especially for exchanges. On the security feature, they are relying on the practical Byzantine fault tolerance consensus mechanism with the two layers of verification. The first one is to combat Sybil attacks by ensuring that shards are only processing macro blocks rather than the whole blockchain. And the second is to do a final verification so that it avoids having any hard forks on the network. They also rely on elliptic curve cryptography to ensure that transaction records, and also employs the proof of work algorithm to generate shards and designate node identities. The other thing that they are supposed to come out soon with is the proof of stake scheme, because that would make them more environmentally friendly, and it's a good alternative to proof of work. Last, we have the all-time high. It was at 25 cents, and that happened in May 2021. Their all-time low has been, soon after they were on their own mainnet, and it was 0.002 cents. And currently, they are sitting at 0.024 cents. So basically 2.5 cents roughly per ZIL. Like I said, their current market cap is around 288 million. They have a total supply 21 billion coins, and currently the circulating supply is around 17 billion.
Awesome, Boris. Thank you so much for that information. Can we kind of change gears and talk about what's new with ZIL and what's in their future roadmap?
Yes. So like I was saying on the games, they have a game called Web3 War, which was they launched the beta, and that's a big thing, and we can have a quick look at it. It looks kind of cool. It's basically a video game, kind of those war games that you play with other people online and against each other. So that's what this is. So they launched the beta version of this this year, and they are also implementing EVMs compatibility, which EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine, which allows you to bridge with Ethereum, do different things with smart contracts, go beyond some of the limitations of the languages such as Solidity for Ethereum. So currently they have a new CEO, but is an interim CEO, that took the reins in October of Zilliqa, and they seem pretty pleased with some of the achievements that they have made. So they were able to do some different things that they building some viable products, which is always the important thing of having products, token tracks, Lunar Crush, XCAD, and then of course the Zilliqa's gaming division, which the Web3 war is a big deal for them, and it seems to be doing pretty well. But at the end of the day, that's the only thing that I think you got to be careful a little bit with Zilliqa. If you compare, Zilliqa has roughly about 35, 37 dApps. If you compare that with Ethereum, who has 3,700, so about 100 times more dApps on its network, that gives you a little bit of sense on how much bigger Ethereum is versus Zilliqa. Now, that doesn't mean that Zilliqa is not going to do well, but they are a much smaller player currently. About a year and a half ago, I think they only had 10 dApps. So in a year and a half, they've been able to almost quadruple the number of dApps that they have on their network. But in the same time, Ethereum has grown tremendously by leaps and bounds. So that's one thing to keep in mind. They're doing different milestones. Like I said, they are doing a lot of upgrades. They're doing also lots of different partnerships. They are going to deliver those EVM in Q1 2023, which is of course a major milestone for them because it opens their ecosystem to a lot more dApps, games, etc. So they think that they're going to be doing well over the coming years. But of course, if you ask anybody out there, they will always tell you that. Also, the smart contract developers can now build dApps on Zilliqa using the EVM programming language Solidity, and they can use tools like Truffle and Hard Hat, roughly to, because we're getting a little technical here. Basically, those things, they come up with different libraries. They have a framework. So when you are a developer, it makes it a lot easier and a lot quicker to build smart contracts, deploy them, test them, make sure they integrate with different other frameworks. So it's basically a bunch of tools that are great for developers. The other thing as well is that it will help them connect easier, using Truffle, they'll be able to connect to MetaMask to make it very easy to have your coins on MetaMask. So the thing also about Web3 war, they're going to see a lot of other features, including mainly NFT integrations and other things that will be adding to the game. This is currently the beta version, so of course they want to come up with the full version this year of the game. And also they think they will be adding vehicles, added to the game and doing mini battle royale and heist and conquest and a bunch of other things basically making the whole experience much better as well for the users.
Awesome. Thank you, Boris. Can we stake ZIL, and do you have any recommendations on where we should be doing that, Boris?
Yeah, it's very easy. So they pay you roughly about 14-15%, somewhere around that. So it's actually a pretty good a pretty good reward. Remember, most of those rewards have a time limit because 14% is not sustainable since they have a limited number of coins and there is no plan to ever add more. So remember, on some of those, when you see high percentages, it's mainly because they try to have adoption, and but they're compatible. It's easy to stake from a lot of different wallets. So the most common ones that I would say, at least the one that most people would be most familiar with, is Ledger, and you can do staking from your Ledger key. The other one that's a big one is the Atomic wallet, which, by the way, if you don't know, Atomic wallet disappeared from the iOS App Store, and it is now back. So they had some issues with Apple, whatever, but now Atomic is once again available on iOS. And whether you stake on Ledger or Atomic, it's very easy. It's basically 1 or 2 clicks. You deposit your coins, you stake it, and it's your own wallet, so there's no risk like having it on an exchange where they could go down or anything like that. At least it's a lot safer. There's never anything that's 100% bulletproof, but it's a lot safer. And then you have a few other wallets like ZIL or Zilliqa or Guarda, Moonlight, etc. So, but those are more dedicated to the Zilliqa ecosystem. So sometimes it's a pain if you want to have things a little bit more together. Having it on your Ledger key is probably best. And Atomic is also a good hot wallet.
Awesome, Boris. Thank you. Can we now talk about ZIL's price prediction and where you expect them to be in the future?
All right. So we look at a few different ones, the Cryptopolitan, digital coin price, and price prediction, and they are somewhat in consensus. I mean, obviously, this whole year we're probably going to be in the low prices. I don't think any of the altcoins are going to do extremely well this year, at least for the beginning of the year. And then probably by middle of the year, depending also on a lot of different macro things might start improving a little bit, but you're not going to see prices go, much higher than what they are right now. Maybe a little bit, but not a whole lot. But by 2025, we might reach, 5 cents, 6 cents, somewhere around that. By 2027, or at least the next bull run, we might see the price going back towards 15 to 20 cents, which is already a pretty good return because you're talking about 10x at this point. And then potentially by 2030, we could be around 50 cents, which at this point, would be a 20x. So 20x is a pretty good return. But first of all, right now, I mean, it's a good coin to keep on your radar. I think that any altcoins right now, there's a potential possibility that we see prices going further down. Even Bitcoin itself could drop. We've said it for a long time now. Potentially, 12, 13K, maybe lower. I mean, who knows? But I think that maybe 12, 13K is possible. And then at that point, you may grab some of those coins for even cheaper than they are right now. 2.5 cents could become, 1.8 cents or something like that, or 1.6 cents. So if you DCA, me personally, I would DCA very slowly right now, very little, just a little bit, because we never know where the bottom really is. And then over time, if you see price falling further down, then accelerating the DCA, getting a little bit heavier as the prices go down. So that's pretty much the whole thing on Zilliqa. And like I said, it's getting crowded on the layer one that are good at sharding, that are good at doing smart contracts. So this one ranks also very kind of low. It's not low, but we are talking about a coin that currently ranks number 85, in the list of coins. But usually they're the ones who have sometimes the biggest potential return, but they're a little bit more risky because are they going to be able to shadow or at least compete with the Polkadots, the Atom, all the others that are out there, ADA, Ethereum, etc., etc. So that's the question you need to ask yourself before you start investing.
Awesome. Thank you for all the information, Boris, today. From my side, that's all I have, but please feel free to add anything else.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to add is make sure, you review those coins. Just don't go blindly because we do a review on a coin to say, okay, I'll buy some. Always at the end of the day, you're the best financial advisor, which we're not. We're just here to entertain you. But the best financial advisor you can ever ask is yourself. Do you really feel like this coin is going to be good or not good? And then you make the decision on whether to invest or not. Because at the end of the day, it is your money that you're investing. So take your time. There is no rush. The whole market, might be correcting a little bit more in the coming month anyway. So that's it for today. Thank you, Colton. Thank you, everyone. We look forward to see you on the next Crypto Night video. I hope this video helps. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. And if you like the video at the end, click on the thumbs up.